Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Amber, and today we are going to make a magic pillowcase. And as we move through this project, you will see why I have termed it a magic pillowcase. It is a fun project, so get ready to have some fun. I will list all the materials that you will need and supplies in the description box below. So follow along with me, and I hope you guys will consider making this pillowcase because it's a lot of fun. So first of all, I want to show you a pillowcase that I made. I first began making these pillowcases probably 7 or 8 years ago. So this is all, I do recommend using 100% cotton. It's just, it will last longer. But use any fabric that you like. So I will go through and show you the fabric I've chosen for today's pillowcase, but I just wanted to show you an example. This is the type of pillowcase that we will be making. So what you will need is a 27-inch, which is a 3/4 of a yard. So I chose this kind of a sage green, and it has like silver polka dots. It's very pretty. So I chose that for my main fabric, and then you will need a 9-inch piece of material for the cuff, and I chose this white, and it has a muted polka dot pattern to it. So that'll be for the cuff. And then you will need a 3-inch trim piece. So I will be using this. It is a white, kind of with silver dots on it. So that is what we'll be using. Now, I am going to reposition the camera so you can see me as I am preparing to cut the fabric here. All right, that should be good. So you will need a self-healing mat like I have here. This is a Fiskers, and an acrylic ruler and a rotary cutter. So let's go ahead and cut the main fabric that you will need. And this is based on a 45-inch width. So we will go ahead and cut that to 27 inches. Yes, 27 inches. And how you can remember the measurements for this project is 9 inches for the cuff, 3 inches for the trim piece, for a total of 27 inches. So 27 inches being the main fabric. So I'm gonna let it go a little bit over the line, and we'll just shape that up in a minute. You would wanna kind of clean up the edges anyway. So let's go ahead and trim that off at 27 inches here. It might help if I put my glasses on so we don't have any mistakes. They say measure twice, cut once, right? So let's make sure we get that right. So, all right, so we'll put that other piece aside for now. And this is our main piece. All right, now we'll go ahead and cut the piece for the cuff. And like I said, we will need a 9-inch piece. So again, we'll let that go over the line a little bit and trim it up in a minute. So we will cut that down to size 9 inches. This is a really fun project. You will see why I call it such fun in a minute, but all right, there we go. 9 inches. I bought enough fabric to do 2 pillowcases because I like symmetrical things, 2s of everything, apparently, like Noah's Ark, you know? So, all right. And then we have this trim piece, and we need 3 inches of that, which we will straighten that up in a minute. All right. We will be pressing this in a minute too, so don't let the wrinkles bother you. All right, 3 inches. All right. Oh, of course, it didn't go all the way through. Let's try that again. There we go. It may be time to replace my rotary blade. when you're quilting, and I've been doing a lot of rag quilts with flannel, it really does dull the blade. So I do have some replacements. There we go. All right, now we'll set that aside. Now the next step, now that we have cut all of our pieces, we're gonna lay it all on top of the main. Do you see how there's the selvage piece here that has the name? I bought this at Joann Fabrics. So we're gonna trim that off. So we're going to line everything up on top of this because we want it all to be the same length, right? So I'll just set that on top. I'll set it where you can see it, about that. So put the both folds at the top there. And then we're going to lay our trim piece on top. It doesn't matter how exactly at this stage. So we want it all to be nice and flat. And if you can see here, some of it is overlapping. So we just want to trim that up real good. This doesn't have to be perfect, but you know, we want it to be straight. So let me move this up just a little bit. All right. I have to slide my ruler down just a little bit here. All right, so that trims the selvage pieces off nicely, and we'll set those aside. All right, so now the next step to this, now that we're, the next step, let's just go ahead and straighten up our ends here, since I'm just going to trim off just the tiniest bit, just to make sure they're nice and straight. You know, sometimes you bring home the fabric and they're not always a nice straight line. And let's go ahead and I'll lift these off now. I'll just turn it around and do the same for the other end. Just straighten up the ends just to make sure that they're nice and straight. I think they are, but I'm just trimming off just the tiniest bit. All right, now we're ready for the next step. So what we're going to do next is, I have my iron heating here, and we are going to press open our pieces here lengthwise. So this is our cuff piece, this white polka dot. So what we're going to do is open that up and iron so the right side of the fabric is up. So it should be nice and hot. I don't have a huge ironing space here, so I'm doing it at a diagonal. I love this ironing mat, by the way, that I got on Amazon. It just helps to conserve space. So just want to make a nice crease in it. And then we'll do the other end of it. All right, that looks good. And then we'll do the same for the trim piece. We're going to open that up. So the right side is out, just like we did with the trim piece. So we're going to fold that over and create a nice crease. Let me know in the comments below if you've ever made this, or if this video may inspire you to make one. They make excellent birthday, Christmas gifts, you name it, in it, or even just for yourself. As you may know, probably do know, pillowcases are expensive. So if you find some cotton fabric on sale, you can make these reasonably inexpensive, or use a coupon for Joann's. All right, so now that that is pressed, I'm going to show you the next step, and it's key to keep this in order. Let me move my ruler and rotary cutter out of the way. So we're going to move this main piece. So the first step is to get your trim piece, your 9-inch piece, whatever color you have chosen. In this case, it's white. So I am going to open that up lengthwise, face up, okay? And then we are going to open the pillowcase lengthwise. And we are going to lay that directly on top, face up again. And lastly, and you want to line up those edges nicely. Maybe just bring it down to the left just a little bit. There we go. All right. And then lastly, we are going to put our trim piece up, the raw side up, just like matching what's already here. So the creased side is going to be down, all right? So we're gonna lay that across there nicely. Now there's a system to this, to making the magic happen. So if you didn't get that, rewind and watch this again until you get it. I know I had to do that. All right, so that's done. Now we're going to take the very end of our main fabric and we are going to roll it up, okay? So we're rolling the fabric gently because we want to keep it nice and flat. Rolling. You see that? All right, now when we get it to about there, we're going to bring up this trim piece, the 9-inch cuff, and we are going to lay it over top of this, okay? Then we're going to have our pins handy because we are going to pin this thing all the way down. I'm going to start by pinning here in the middle. Now I'm going to pin it. You can pin it at whatever intervals you like. And just, you want to stabilize that because you don't want anything shifting on you. And after this, we are going to take this over to the machine and we are going to stitch a 1/2-inch seam all the way down this main seam. Now we're not going to stitch the ends, so do not stitch your very ends because that is where the magic comes from. You will see in a moment. So we're just going to keep pinning this. We want to line it up the best we can. It is a little forgiving, so no worries. But we don't want anything shifting on us here. All right, so that looks good. So now we are going to go over to the machine and sew a 1/2-inch seam all the way down. Okay, so now we have our long tube all pinned and ready to go. So I'm sitting at my Janome sewing machine and I am going to sew a 1/2-inch seam all the way down. So let me just reposition this so you can see. All right, so we are going to line that up. I usually just line it up with my foot and that's how I know that is my 1/2-inch mark. So here we go. We're just sewing a 1-inch or 1/2-inch seam all the way down. I've got it off to the side here. It helps if you position it without sticking yourself with the pins in front of you. You don't want anything shifting in there. All the way down. This is just a great beginner project. Wait till you see the reveal on this. It is amazing. It still blows my mind. And I've made a lot of these. for that portion of the sewing. I'll snip off the ends of the other side. All right, so now we have our long tube. I'm gonna scoot the camera back so you can get a better shot of when I open this pillowcase up. All right, let's go back over here to this side. Sorry, bouncing you around a little bit. All right, so now what we are going to do is turn the tube right side out, all right? So what we are going to do is just, it's kind of like a sausage. Just keep pulling it out gently because you don't want to tear your seams, but just keep pulling it out. And then the magic will begin to unveil. All right, so we have that out. So look at that, you guys. Can you see that? No seams are exposed on either side. They're all the seams are inside. Look at that. Can you see the colors on that? The sage green. So now that part of the sewing is done. So now what we're going to do is put our right sides together, and you want to line up especially this seam here where the trim piece meets, because you want that to be lined up when you go to sew it. So let me grab my pins that I have over by my machine here. All right. And then we're just gonna pin that all the way down. And we want it to be nice and flat. Again, this is very forgiving, really. Just don't want to lose my edge there. I don't need too many pins, maybe just 3 or 4 on each side. You can pin however you like. And then we'll go ahead and pin the very end along this side. And then we will just take this over to the machine once again. And then this pillowcase is finished, you guys. They really do work up very nice and quickly. And of course, because this was a fold, you already have that side. So it is very, very easy. So let's go back over to the machine. Sorry, pardon the bounce there, but let me see here. There we go. And let's stitch this side. Again, 1/2 inch seams, consistent throughout the project. Make sure sometimes the seams can get skewed. Just going to stitch this all the way down. I'm just going to lift up the foot and turn it and continue my stitch. Lift up my needle and keep on sewing. Is all the sewing. One thing I was going to show you, what I like to do on the corners, just so it doesn't bunch up, I snip it at an angle just to get rid of that little excess there. I'm just going to snip that very corner, just so it doesn't bunch up on you. So on both corners, this one I'll do the same thing. It's not necessary, I just like it the way it lays better. So I'll go ahead and remove my pins. Lost my pin cushion there temporarily. Remove my pins, and then we'll open this up so you can see the finished product. All right, let's see, did we get them all? I'll snip my threads here. Oh yeah, and we'll do this corner too at the very end to relieve a little bit of that bulk. You don't want to get the seam, but all right, so let us open up this pillowcase and take a look. One thing I was going to show you that I have is this small wooden dowel, and that helps gently, but it helps to get the corners here to kind of poke them out so you have a nice corner there. You see? So that just kind of helps. And we'll do the same thing for that the other corner here. Just a gentle one. We don't want to poke through the seam there. So see, that kind of helps. I'm not even sure where I got this, but I've had it for a long time. And then let me show you the finished product here. And then I would go ahead and press the whole thing just to make it look nice. But can you see that fabric? I like it. I mean, obviously you choose whatever patterns you want. I was thinking, oh, I was enjoying fabrics yesterday. I was looking at all this Thanksgiving and Christmas fabric, you guys. And I was thinking that would be so fun to do Christmas themed pillowcases as gifts. It's just a fun project, and I do recommend using 100% cotton just because it holds up better. But yep, that's the finished product. And I hope you liked this tutorial. Let me know if you do decide to give it a whirl. And let me know if you have any questions. Like I said, below I will link, or I will include all the supplies that you will need. But I hope you will try this project. It's a lot of fun. And once you get it down, you can just mass produce. So I hope you've enjoyed it. God bless. Bye-bye.